Hello everybody, how's everyone doing? Come up here, Bubba. Come on, up here. Yeah. So Lindsay's going to be joining us. I'll just wait for her to find me. I did a last minute decision. Here she is. Hello America. Let's put this in here. Oh, hold on, I'm just waiting for Lindsay. Make sure you put your request to join me in, my darling. I don't see Lindsay in there yet. So I'll just wait for it to come up. What you doing, boo-boo? My dog wants to be front and centre today, as you can see. So I'm just waiting, Lindsay, for your request to go in. I'm not seeing it yet, my darling. Oh, there we are. There we go. Yay! It's suddenly really hot now.
Hi.
Hello! How are you, gorgeous girl?
I'm very good. How are you? Thank you for asking me to join you.
No problem, no problem. No, I mean, I really feel like this was something that when this community was put together, which obviously, as we know, it wasn't my idea, it was from above. I think they planned for this, for us to be able to do this, because whenever I saw you guys and I was like, oh yeah, that's the one for California, I could almost have a vision of this happening in the future. It actually happened a few months later than we thought it would, but here we are.
I think it's perfect.
Yes, I agree, I agree. So I see the Christmas tree in the background. This is the one we talked about. Now, is this because it's like a tradition to keep it this long, or just because you absolutely bloody adore it?
I bloody adore it, and it's the first time I've actually had it up. I've never had a tree before, so it's my first one. Mm-hmm. And also I haven't had time to take it down. So the box is around for me to pack everything away. I just haven't gotten to it.
It just looks like Christmas there still.
It is. I know, but I have my Valentine's Day stuff out and ready to go. So
okay,
when I get time.
It's time now for the swap over.
Yes, it is. Probably after this.
Okay, perfect. That's great. I mean, what I felt we should do is, I was told very clearly that this whole month of January needs to be about Thrive mentality. And then what does that mean to you? You know, I mean, for me, it is, you know, getting out there and living life. What do you feel Thrive mentality means?
I think a lot of that too, and I've noticed also with the first half of January, a lot of self-care. So I'm able, maybe by next week or February, to actually go out and peek my head out. I even said it to my friends the other day. I said, I think I'm ready to see if the world is still around, you know, peek my head out the door and get ready.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes it's nice just to take your time, you know?
Yes. And it makes sense too. It's in.
Guys, that's Alicia trying to call me. She doesn't know that I'm on a live, so hopefully she'll get the memo. So sorry about that. Carry on, my darling.
No, I was just saying it makes sense with timing too, because it's spring and then blooming, coming out from underground and all that.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. And the subjects that I covered the other day with Courtney, it felt really good for us to maybe do the same subjects because of the fact that there's so much to say on each of them, and then each of us has such a unique perspective.
Yes.
So I just run through them again with you guys.
Sure.
It was what is love, and the opposite, you know, what are toxic relationships? What do they look like? And then after that, that's being one sort of chapter, and then moving on to the sun and the moon and the impact on us and how it impacts us. And then thirdly was diet and how that impacts you spiritually. Hello, Courtney. See, we were talking about you and then you waved. I will add an incidental, though, regarding sun and moon. And that is that, I don't know if any of you guys have seen yet, but Ben, the angelic music man that did the clip that we had on the community page, I did a quick chat with him today, and he is going to do a special interview and a meditation just for us on the 9th of February, and it's a full moon.
Excellent.
So for all of the moon girls, he was feeling that. He was like, oh yeah, and it's a full moon. I was like, perfect. That's going to tick a lot of boxes for a lot of girls.
Wonderful. That'll be good. And you said live, yes?
Yes, it's going to be live at 2:22. We still have to figure out a few tech things because he's actually going to play the music live for us and do a meditation for us live. It's like our own private personal performance by Ben. I mean, I can't even believe it. Like, that's what's happening. He sees who we are and wants to work with us. And he understands that, you know, I'm just open. I'm like, we can just do whatever you like, Ben. Like, you know.
That's going to be great.
So yes, starting with what is love, darling? What are your thoughts? I might have to take this off. I'm really warm.
Yes, I know. My heat's on too. I should shut it off. I think something that's respectful and supportive, and not so emotionally charged where you take each other through highs and lows. Something that's even keel. You know, that honor, you know, that sweetness, kindness. You know, I went to a wedding this weekend and it was beautiful, and you could just see he adored her. You know, it's almost like sweet, childlike, innocent. That's really what it is.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that, because it's like we're going back to what love it really is supposed to be, you know. And it feels like I'm about to talk about something that's different, and it's actually not. And that is that if we look at the three principles of the world, the Ra, the La, and the Ta, the Ra being the masculine, the La being the feminine and the friendship energy, and then Ta being sex, creation, and God. It's almost like, again, taking that back to its purity. So maybe the balance of love between the Ra and La, the way we achieve that is through focusing on the purity aspect of Ta, the purity aspect of love, the purity aspect of creation and sex, you know, because now we're almost, connecting the three together in the way that they're supposed to be.
Yes. You know, it's beautiful and powerful that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. So no, and I see angelic guidance is giving us some details down there as well. So
oh, good.
Great.
But to read through them after.
Yeah. So the thing is, I agree. Love is respect.
Yeah.
It's honor and that adoration and that adoration.
Did we just say adoration at the same time?
And it's key because you see I know in movies and stuff they do show it, but there's so much in the media that isn't love. Sometimes it's things like it's warped. It's like with my twin and his fake thing, and you have these fake things, and pretend publicity relationships, and then people that are together because of identity or because they don't want to be single, or they don't want to not be a wife, or there's all this weird stuff.
And they feed each other's stories.
Yes. And yet the thing that's missing is you don't see the adoration for each other, the honor and the respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is like I said, I had a close call just this week, and I was having this feeling like I am supposed to be getting back with this ex-boyfriend of mine, and I was like, where the hell's this come from? And luckily I'd had a stepping stone soulmate in the spring who adored me. And so when this ex-boyfriend, who's perfectly nice man, perfectly clever, perfectly good looking, all these blah 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 boxes ticked, but I was like, this isn't it, even though in his words he'd be like, oh, I adore her. But his ability to adore was not on the level of what I need someone's adoring ability to be.
Yeah. Like a different frequency of it.
Yes. And so it is all about our growth, because obviously in 2014 it was enough. In 2019 it absolutely isn't. And so it's about us, because it ties in so much with our own self-respect, our own self-honor, our own self-love, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Right, and what you'll allow or not, and what you want, absolutely ties in with your own self-respect.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit more about you and your journey, honey, because obviously this is the first time for everyone to really meet Lindsey. She is the coordinator of California, which, as you all know, is a huge key role, especially when we were first launching the community. There was a lot going on for California, and I'm being told right now that it's going to come full circle around. Once we've moved around all the other areas, it comes back to California again. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself, darling, and your journey.
Sure. Like my whole life?
I don't
A little
know,
bit?
whatever feels, I mean, you're so qualified, you're so clever in all your different things. I just think it'd be nice for people to have a little bit of background about you,
Sure.
especially even the other coordinators, you know, just to be able to really, you know,
Know
just
one another.
feel your energy. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So I was born in New York. So I was born in New York, and everyone, even my own family, they all tell me I was a little, I don't want to say different, but that's how I was, very quiet and observant. But I remember spending a lot of time in the woods and like hanging out with the fairies. Like that was my thing to do by the stream. That's where I spent most of my childhood.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, that's what I was doing. So a lot of time like lost in daydreams, you know, but that's connecting to spirit, really. So
yeah,
a lot of that. And then as I got older, I would have a lot of, let's say like teen years, messages come through, perceptions, and I was always told, I would talk about it. And I was always told, you know, don't pay attention to that stuff. You can't trust it. And I started to bury it, but things would pop up that I had said. And it was getting to the point where like, there's something here. And then I went for a master's in psychology and clinical psych. And at the very end of my program, I decided I didn't want to sit behind the desk and hear people's stories over and over and over again about why their brother stole their dog or something like that. I couldn't transform someone's life fast enough. At the time, I didn't know about Tony Robbins, who I absolutely love. And you can see him transform people's lives in a few minutes, 45 minutes or so, which is magnificent to watch. But at the time, I knew I didn't want to spend my life behind a desk. And I was in a bad car accident, and my aunt took me to the acupuncturist. And she put me on the table and pressed my abdomen, and I like almost jumped through the ceiling. It was so intense. And then she pressed a point on my ankle, and the pain in my abdomen was gone. And I was like, you're in the wrong spot. And she's like, no, I'm in the same spot and I'm deeper. And that's like when the light bulb went off, that you can transform someone's life and their health and their mindset in an instant on the table.
wow.
So, and then I went to acupuncture school in Manhattan. And that's what like blew open the whole other world, you know, this world that we find ourselves in now. Because Chinese medicine has been around for thousands of years, and it was brought in by the healers, the ones that did all the meditation on the mountaintops, and they still exist.
Can I pause you there, because you've said two things that are just super key. One, you and Shannon talked in detail, only because, you know, Shannon had an extraordinarily terrible car accident. So just you two being able to share the experience with that, it was like serious, like one of the most serious stories you'll hear is Shannon and her car accident. And then about the I Ching and the Chinese medicine. I've been talking about the I Ching briefly in lives and a lot with the coordinators the last few days. And so Lindsey can appreciate when I'm talking about it. It's from literally an age ago. It's not old by standard Western times. It's ancient. And you can probably even give a better description of how old it is. It truly is old, and it truly does have a protection around it, in that when you ask questions on the I Ching, you have to show respect, which is another way of saying you have to show love.
Yes.
And that purifies it, because you have to say, please tell me the outcome.
Yes. I feel like that's a lot with, you need to be in that space also for channeling and divination and that kind. You need to be in the space of love if you want the clear and neutrality, really, you know, if you want that message to come through properly, and that's not adulterated in any sort of way. You know,
and the thing is not to go too off subject, but it is important right now. I want everyone in the spiritual community to be aware of something that I've observed over the last month, and that is that there are norms that were norms my whole life. You know, like I would hear from my ego once a month, it would say a word, I'd laugh at it. It would say a sentence, I'd laugh at it. I mean, it really was not apparent. To then in the last month, I've had days where I've had whispers the entire day. And so if that's happening to me, someone who's successfully put their ego to sleep permanently, this is serious, you know? So I'm really concerned and aware for everybody in the community that just know, and this is definitely not to scare anyone, God no, the opposite. We are all powerful and we have God and Jesus behind us. Darkness can't fuck with us. It can only whisper. It's like if the worst you've got is whispers, I mean, it's got no power. Anyway, but the point is understand that the tactics have been changing. So if you've had a way of living in a certain way, and this is how I get my messages, and this is how I tune into my higher self, and I know when my ego's there because I feel like this, just know that there's been a turn up almost in the volume or in something that's changed things, so that things have been different. And it's probably because of the amount of growth and the amount of like grid activation we've been doing, and because of the fact that where we are in the universe, where we're moving into this place where we can move into 5D. But as a result of all this positive stuff, the negative is having different tactics, is the only way I can explain it. Slightly different tactics. And if you're not watchful and aware of these tactics, you could end up misconstruing what you think is higher self or intuition, and it actually is something that's really not good for you or for anyone around you.
And it's the darkest before the dawn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're so lucky to have you, Lindsey. I just feel so grateful. You know, we just have the most amazing coordinators on earth, literally.
Thank you to you and your guides, you know,
I mean,
putting it all together.
We're only as strong as we are together, and that's it. You know, when we're able to be together and support each other, and you know, for everybody watching, you know, Lindsey, you know, she has volunteered for the role of the coordinator for California, and she's there to support you guys. And you know, I just need everybody. The same thing I said yesterday when I was talking with Jacqueline is, no one's ever alone now. There is somebody. You know, you have to do your own work and you have to do your own self-care. There's no point going tired, sick and hungry and getting yourself in a state. You know, you have to take care of yourself and you have to work hard. But other than that, your sisters are here for you. There is always someone that will listen. You go into the Facebook page, you talk to the other girls in your region. If you get desperate one night, contact one of the coordinators. Just, you know, just know that no one's alone.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. And I was just on a call with Sandra, who I talked to you about before, last night, Sandra Viskind. And it was all about awareness, but it was also about letting the other person go through their stuff and not backpacking them, putting them on your back and carrying them up the mountain, which we as healers tend to do. You know, oh, let me just fix that for you. This is how you do it. Yeah. But then you enable them, you know, you don't allow them to step up, and then they rely on you immediately for their first go-to, no matter what. It could be a Band-Aid, like a paper cut, you know, and you're the first one instead of, you know, doing it yourself.
It's okay. It's got to be, how can I take care of this? And then you do all that's necessary, so that when you speak to somebody that you're going to for support, you're actually going to them saying, right, I've eaten, I've rested, I've done a frankincense salt bath, I've gotten my Bible out, I've prayed, and you know, and I did a meditation, and this is how I'm feeling. Do you have any suggestions? Like, you know what I mean? It's got to be like you're the grown-up woman that's doing the work to get yourself where you need to be. And if you've kind of run out of, like, I don't know what else to do, that's the great time to speak to one of us, because we just have, like I said, we have the greatest coordinators. My hand was guided to all of them. I didn't know any of them before this. The only one who I did know was Shannon, who had recently become a client, and now she's the global coordinator, which is just amazing. But everybody else, I didn't know any of them, not one.
And there's plenty of tools out there, you know, plenty of tools, but it's your job to do the work, you know?
And don't stop. Don't stop, you know, like my free affirmation track is on my website. Listen to it every day for the next year. This isn't something you do for 2 days. You do it every day for a year. You do it to the point where you can record your own affirmation track, because you know my one backwards and it's time for another one, like, you know?
So when those are done properly and you change your state, I went to the UPW maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. That's Tony Robbins' like basic thing. I listened to one of his or two of his affirmations like every single day for 6 months, and my life dramatically shifted. So it's when you really do the work and you change your state and your vibration, you know, if you listen to Bob Proctor, they all talk about this. Your life will dramatically change.
Yeah. I've just been guided to tell everybody the most simple prayer. I've also been told to tell you guys what I do at myself at the moment, but it's by no means telling you that you should do it. I'm just letting you know what I do. So the first thing what I'm being guided to do is a very useful prayer for everybody is literally everything is great right now. That's it. Dear God, everything is great right now. Now, if things are great right now, excellent. If things aren't, then in that moment, even if you've like literally you're out in the rain, it's cold and you walk under a bus stop so there's no rain for a couple of seconds as you walk under it. Oh, everything's great right now. I mean,
that's gratitude.
In that moment, it's even if your rent's due tomorrow and you don't have any of it, but right now your rent is paid. So right now everything's great right now. So get into this, everything is great right now. So it is totally non-denominational, all that stuff, just literally everything is great right now. And using that as much and as necessary as possible until eventually you're saying everything's great right now. And you're actually saying it because you're like, oh my God, everything's great right now, you know?
Yeah. And then also increasing oxygen, you know, while you say those things, you can jump up and down, change your state, change the music. That's massive too. So while you're saying affirmations, to put on something where the vibration is happy, you know, behind it, or the music makes you feel great.
Well, saying that, Ben, the guy that's going to do the meditation with us on February 9th, full moon, I bought his album. It's my favorite thing in the world, and I call it going 5D. And when I say I call it that, I mean I call it to myself because it's just me and my dog here. I'm like, right, I'm going 5D, and I walk around, switch on all my colored lights, light all my candles, do all my stuff, and then I put his music on, and then I do whatever I'm going to do. I'm cooking or doing a face mask or I don't know, whatever I'm doing. But I'm literally, I feel like I'm in 5D because my house looks like 5D. Once I put his music on, I'm there. It's just insane. So I highly recommend it. That's all I can say. And if you don't want to buy something, his old album is on YouTube. So you just go on YouTube and pull up that, and then you'll get a taster as well. So just so again, these are all these different things. Sorry, because you are so inspiring, Lindsey. I've got all these things coming all at once.
That's fine. Yeah. No,
the other thing is to just tell you guys what I'm doing every day right now, because anyone who does want to do the things I'm doing, every day I say the Lord's Prayer every day right now. I was told to do it. You know, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I actually have it as my screensaver because I didn't know it word for word. So that's one thing I do every day. Again, no one's telling you have to, just telling you this is what I do. And then something really fun that Alicia came up with is there's a prayer called the Prayer of Jabez. I need to pull up the name and show you guys, but it's basically a prayer that's like this short. It's really, really short. And I was told to say that one every day too. I'll have to find a way to show you guys. I'll put it on his story and I'll just say this is the prayer I was talking about so everyone can see it and Google it and find out about it. But I've just been told to do that every day for now. And so I think if we all become very real about our prayer life and actually understand, you know, there is spiritual warfare going on. So you have to truly align with the side you're on, and you know, your prayer life and stuff is going to really help with that.
There's 4 questions that I use. I'll see if I can remember them. But when you notice that you're not in the best state, it's like, it's how am I feeling? Crappy, whatever it is, right? How do I want to feel? At peace. What am I focusing on that I'm not feeling that? And it would be, well, I'm focusing on, let's say, like you don't have the rent or whatever the situation is. And it's how do I want to feel? That's at peace. And then what do I think about in order to feel that way? I'll write these questions out too, and I'll put them in a story. I'll tag you so you can post it for everybody. But usually the best answer is at the end, really, that you can't go wrong with, is gratitude and love.
Absolutely.
And if you just focus on those 2, that shifts your state, you know, and therefore you can act from that place.
I think that smoothly transitions us on to, we were talking about what is love and then toxic relationships. And I'm not even talking about particularly, you know, romantic or twin ones or anything, just generally toxic relationships. There's been, I've talked about on the community page about the regression flu. There has been a selfish flu going, a selfish cold that I see has been going around too. And again, it's not actually, not everybody's catching it, but has everybody had a notice of at least one person in their life who acts a bit selfish, and it's almost like you're doing them a favor? Like they're doing you a favor, by being in your life. I've seen that in a few people, just the selfish flu. So I just thought that was quite interesting when we start thinking of, like, you know, toxic relationships, because becoming aware of toxic relationships, and once you're aware of them and moving away from them, is really, really important. So obviously if somebody does kind of, you'll know if it resonates with you, but I just definitely noticed a couple of people that it felt like they were acting like I owed them something, and like like they were doing me a favor. Yet most of the time it was situations where I was actually paying them, or I'd hired them, or, you know, so it was kind of a situation where that didn't make sense. And it was noticeable enough that I realized it was a spiritual sickness, because it was kind of like, this doesn't make sense, you know? It was like, I'm giving this person presents, I'm paying them this, I'm doing this, and then they're like, they can't say thank you. I'm like, okay, all right then.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So just being aware of anything like that, because also all the people I'm talking about have literally taken the trash out for themselves. I've not had to remove any of them. They just take themselves out. It's quite amazing. So what do you have to say about toxic relationships, Lindsey?
Those are the ones that leave you feeling drained. You know, also the ones that you keep going back to, thinking that it's going to be better or different. The ones that make you feel like you're crazy, like, you know,
they're special.
Yes, thankfully, I'm like talking about probably about a decade ago. Like, I'm pulling up stuff, but I'm like, man,
because it's like with me. Mine is more people that I'm paying to do services for my company. It's not like people that are really, really close in anymore, but they've been close enough, you know.
Yes. Oh yeah. Like, and best friends from years ago, where I'm like, I can't believe I was in that. I allowed myself to be in that situation. Oh yeah. You know, but oh goodness. Dark.
But here's the thing. We need to help those that are still in it, because we're the rarity to be the ones that don't have any of that. It's actually quite normal. So many of my clients still have a bad girlfriend. Because if we had it 2 years ago, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been on this journey. I've been on the healing journey since 2003. So it's been
same. That's when I started acupuncture school, right around
then.
Yeah.
So for us, the things that we let go a good few years ago, other people are still dealing with them right now. So we need to give some advice about identifying. First of all, identify them. Identify the selfish, or the negative, or the ones that
don't bring anything to the table.
Or I think selfish. It's really funny, because the really toxic one that I got rid of a couple of years ago, in the end, it was the sheer selfishness. It was stupid things. It was really silly things, but it was just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're almost like making themselves some food when you've been invited over for lunch and they're eating in front of you, and you're like, am I eating with you? Like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Oh yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I became ruthless, really, and cut people out. It's not worth it. You know, but that's because I got to a point where I was so depleted and dragged down that I really didn't have much of a choice. And also, I mean, thank God for God and spirit, because there's much of my life where they have pulled me out of things. Like, I know it wasn't me. Like, they made it clear that, nope, you're headed down the wrong path. You are going this other direction. We are going to drag your ass there, whether you like it or not. And I'd be like, no, you know, I should be this, you know, or I'm helping this person. And they're like, nope, you're pulling you back. So it's amazing to see. And I know now, if they tell me, move, you know, do this, do that, cut this one off. Like, I listen. If they say jump, I am off that cliff.
And the thing is, I love this time for me to have with you, Lindsey, because with what I know about the ego and the shadow and everything like that, and you doing the program with me and everything like that, with everything that's been going on, particularly the last few days and, you know, the last few weeks, the fact that your guidance is so strong, maybe that's the whole point. That's why we're meant to be doing these lives now, because without realizing it, you guys are my advisors. The reason you're my advisors is it's not always in that you have to actually give me pointers or direction. It's the fact that you can hold strong.
Yes.
You know, you can hold strong in the storm. When the storm's coming, you're not running to hide, you're standing strong. And that in itself makes you an advisor, because you have the ability to stay strong.
Yeah.
Courtney just said we're getting smarter, so they are too. So that is her talking about the darkness, I believe. So as we evolve and get really smart and really intellectual and so clever in the spiritual world, we have to understand that we are then, you know, the resistance, the equal opposite energy is kind of matching us. So that might be why things are getting a little bit complicated.
That's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, the thing is that we're literally surfing. Like, that's how I see it. I see it. We're surfing, and if you're not surfing yet, you will be soon, guys. Surfing is coming. This year is going to be about us surfing. I mean, it's literally, they're showing us like ocean, bright colors, going, yay! Like, you know, life is going to start, it's going to be surfing. That's what it's going to be.
And that's really what you want, you know, to ride the wave, you know, to stay afloat. And not be up and down and severe highs and lows.
Yes, we just want just the peace and serenity, you know.
Yes. And
when something tries to challenge your serenity, just to be able to take a moment to step back, look, do what you can do about it, and then reach out to your fellow supporters. You know, the people who you support and they support you. Reach out to them, you know, because when we try and deal with things on our own, I don't think that that's coming from a good place. Once you've done the basic stuff, if you still don't feel good, it is time to reach out of self-love, out of love for yourself. It's time to say, I need help. I deserve some help. Which sister should I talk to? And then take the time deciding which sister you should talk to. Talk to the most advanced, most loving soul you know.
Yes, and make sure that you pick the one that is going to tell you what you need to hear, not the one that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Yes. So
important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So important. Yeah.
You know, you may not like to hear it, but you need to hear it. So.
Yeah. I mean, and this is it. And that's why I say, you know, I was always told that you guys that were chosen as coordinators were really, really important. And they said, you'll see why. And it's becoming so apparent now. You know, it really is. You know, Jacqueline yesterday, America, yourself, Shannon, everybody, Pooja in India. I mean, I'm going to miss, if I try and read out everybody's name, I'm going to miss people. So I'll stop now, because if I get close to saying everyone, they'll be like, she didn't mention me. You guys know. You guys know. If you're in the course with me, you know how much I adore you. So, the thing is, and not only that, if you're supporting people and you're not doing the course, just even to be honest, the whole community, when I feel it and I literally can see it like a circle, there's like a heart shape around the circle. Everybody that's in the community has my whole heart, you know. Definitely. So I think we've done a bit of toxic, we've done a bit of love. We could move on to, let's check the time. What time is it? My clock, my oven has not got a clock, it's got the Fahrenheit of my cooking. Is it 6:30?
It's 3:30. So yeah, it would be 6:30 for you.
Okay, so we just have to make sure we don't get cut off, because you know, an hour they just cut it off. The Instagram shuts it down. Sun and moon. Sun and moon.
So that's yin and yang, right? So yang is that power, that force, that drive. And the moon is the yin, the womb. Like, I think of the moon and yin is very womb-like, you know, like just something soft, nurturing, protective, guiding, you know, receptive. Like, you really have to listen and hone in, where the sun shows everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I told you about the little moon story that I had for my birthday. We were out to dinner, and we were sitting on the ocean. It was my little coven. So there's like 8 of us, and we're sitting out, and over the ocean, I kept saying, "Look at the moon! Look at the moon!" And it is this massive orange ball in the sky. So I haven't seen an orange moon. And I said it multiple times, and every gift I got had a little moon on it, crescent moon, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
And then they ask me every year, I have great friends, but every year they ask me, what is my word for the year? And last year's word was freedom, and totally achieved that. And then this year's word for my birthday was heart opening. Right? So we went home, and they texted me when they looked up what's an orange moon mean, and it means heart opening.
Oh, beautiful.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So I love the moon. I love, just that deep, passionate, nurturing, motherly womb feeling. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. And the thing is, so many women are so drawn to the moon, and obviously, our periods and the waves and all this are all connected to the moon. Personally, me, I'm a sun girl. I love the sun.
I love to lay in the sun.
I love to lay in the sun, but I also talk to the sun. I close my eyes and I get messages, and the messages are different than what I get from my angels. Even though my angels are a group, they sound like young kids, and it does more sound like an individual. It's hard to explain. It's like one of them is talking at a time. But when I talk to the sun, it sounds like a chorus. It's like a chorus of people speaking at once in tune with each other. It's very interesting. And I don't have long chats with them. They kind of just get straight to the point. They're much more mature. But I speak with the sun, and I feel the sun is the most important energy for me personally. And I think it's probably because I have so much raw energy. But all I say is that I love that all the girls love the moon, but please try and balance it with some sun girls. Because the thing is, me and America are going to actually talk about this tomorrow. We're going to call our live tomorrow Emperor Queens.
Yes.
Because it was a typo on one of the messages that we were sending internally, and it was meant to say Empress Queens, and it changed it to Emperor Queens. And I said, no, I like that. Because I feel that right now, the women of the earth, the best thing we can do is be kingly. Now, we'll be kingly queens, emperor queens, which means we're not queens. We're still queens. We're feminine. We, birth children and cook food and nurture and love. But we also need to be able to be masterful about our lives, and take action. But I won't go too much into that, because me and her are going to do the whole session about that.
I feel like that's very Queen of Wands energy. The Emperor Queen. That
yes.
Passionate, go-getting. That's all very young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Love
Queen of Pentacles. And Queen of Pentacles as well. Just the getting her shit together one.
Yeah. The sheer drive behind that Queen of Wands energy.
Absolutely. So with the sun and the moon, just make sure, girls, you're doing everything equally. That's all I would say. Because a lot of my girls have, Courtney has a really, really close affinity with the moon, and so many of my clients do. And so that's my thing, is just say, because of the connection I have with the sun, I am being told, please, girls, make sure, again, no staring at it with your eyes open or anything silly like that, but just to be conscious of the balance of the energies,
That's very much in life, right? Same with acupuncture. You want to balance all the channels, balance all the energy.
Yeah, and I can't wait to come to California and have some acupuncture from you, because back when I was really sick, back when I was so ill, the only time I felt well is I would go and have acupuncture and an acupressure massage. The massage hurt like hell, but then I would walk home feeling like a human.
Yes.
For the first time that week. And then by the time I got home, I felt so good that I'd want to go shopping or be normal or do something, and then I'd just burn out and crash. And then I'd be sick again for another week or two until I could go back, so I know how powerful it is. It's extraordinary.
Yes. Life-changing.
And in the future, my master coach, Alicia, who's in California, who has a background with cancer and everything like that, with actually helping people to get over cancer, the two of you will probably have a nice chat at some point as well.
Yes. Who is that? Alicia?
That's Alicia.
Okay.
Alicia Bravo, my #1 master coach. So she's the dark-haired lady I did a couple of lives with. She's actually like my coach, you know, as in like when I don't coach someone, she coaches them, and she's equally as good as me. So yeah.
Awesome.
So the last subject, diet. This is going to be a fun one because Lindsey knows a lot about this. I'm actually going to sit back just because I'm going to let Lindsey talk a lot about this for a minute. Diet and spirituality.
Okay, so where do you want to begin?
Well, I could start with I've been told what the name of the diet is that I'm going to be on. And it's called the diet. My angels gave me a name for it either this morning or last night. I don't remember because they kept saying it throughout the night, I think. And that is predominantly plant-based.
Okay, yeah.
That's what they like. But it means I can eat anything I want. I don't have to identify with anything. If someone sees me eating a steak, I'm not trying to claim anything with anybody. I'm just predominantly plant-based. Not that I am yet. I'm transitioning into it in early February. So
I mean, I honestly don't like that people would, if you were to say I'm vegan and then you have a steak, because first off, women of childbearing age should be eating red meat due to the blood loss around their period anyway. So it changes the body dramatically. And you'll notice, like, if your muscles are tight, your neck, your shoulders, your back, at the end of your period, you really should be eating meat, and that's why. So veganism is outstanding. It's great also if you're not around people and you live in a cave. Really, that's what it's for. So I was raw vegan for a couple of years when I lived in Manhattan. I've seen a lot of sick vegans, and those are like the junk food, or I'm only going to eat mangoes, or I'm only going to eat bananas. It's not how it's done. So if you do it properly, like when I was raw vegan, it was the best I ever felt in my life. However, I say raw vegan because around my period, I still ate fish. And I don't know if it's because I'm and I'm from Sicily, you know, so that's a port in, you know, from a port.
Yeah.
A fishing town in Italy.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the reason. But around my cycle, I could not get rid of fish. And that was fine. That journey was fascinating too, because I would do the master cleanse, that water, cayenne pepper, around 3 or 4 times a year around the change of the cycles of the seasons. And I would do it anywhere.
Equinox, like the equinox and things, you mean?
Fall, yeah, spring, winter, summer. Would do it from anywhere from a week to 14 days. And when you do cleanses or fasts that long, you see that your mind is so fixated and so focused on food. What are you gonna eat? How do you feel like because you ate something? What's my next meal? Where are we gonna go? And when you cut all of that out and you have so much space and time upstairs, and it frees you up to do other things. Not only it frees you up mentally, but it frees up your body in other aspects as well, because it's not constantly digesting heavy foods, cheese, meat, all that stuff. I mean, our diets today are very much what kings would be eating, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's really heavy. So it's hard to digest, you know, it's constant protein. So not that I'm saying that you shouldn't. So the
thing is like with me, what I've been told by my Vedic astrologer, who I can actually announce it. We are going to be doing our first class with the Vedic astrologer on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and it's going to run for 5 weeks. And he's from Canada, and he actually knows how to predict your actual real birth time.
Ooh.
Yes, he's amazing. So that's official. He just messaged me before I came on here. And he's going to do some artwork for it, and I'll be sending, I'll be letting you guys know his Instagram and everything like that. because that's the thing. It's time for everything to just start moving in this community. Do you know what I mean? I want, you know, we're going to have the thing with Ben. We're going to have this Vedic astrology. We're doing this now where everyone gets to actually meet the coordinators. You know, we're doing this, girls. Like, this is why the darkness is trying to do all this stuff to attack. It's because I'm about to ramp things all the way up. You know?
I like that you're going to be teaching a lot of these things to women. You know, I think it's important. There's tools that are needed that, I mean, I have a lot because I'm in that field, you know, so I've already been trained with multiple degrees in these practices. Yeah, in these modalities. And when you're immersed in this world, I mean, it really gives you resiliency, you know? So when I notice that those that aren't are struggling, you know, have a hard time with life in general, you know? And like we were saying before, much of life can take you up and down, and you need to be relatively neutral. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my dog was on the floor begging for being stroked. And I'm like, why don't you just come and sit on my lap? Like, you know, to make life a lot easier.
So in a lot of these events that you're going to host are excellent. So
and the thing is, God's guiding all of it. Like, it's amazing. Like, you know, those that are super close to me, like Shannon, she sees it. So I'll be like, oh, that guy. And second I see their Instagram, I'm like, oh, me and him are going to teach classes, you know. And I come across Ben, I'm like, we need Ben, like, literally, we need our own private performance. Like, this is extraordinary. Like, you know what I mean? This is amazing. And this is just the beginning, because the other thing, guys, is I'm going to be launching Empress Evolution. And Empress Evolution is literally, it's the female womanhood of the planet standing up. That's what it is, you know. It's time. We're doing it now. And the Empress Evolution website, it will start small, but the idea behind it is like a non-profit organization where all of us have got skills, and the skills, we want to have all the girls listed there. We just want to be able to, you know, even like California acupuncture, Lindsey, like, we want everybody listed. We want everyone listed. We want to encourage all the girls to be kingly and to be making money. Making money isn't a bad thing, guys. The fact is that the richer we are, the more quicker we can heal the world, because of, this stuff's going to building cities and things is going to cost money, you know, and we're going to need to pay for diggers and equipment. My dog's never done this before. You all know this. I knew at the beginning of the live that he was being a little bit more like, I want to be on camera, and now he's really going for it.
But that's so true. The more you have, the more you can give.
Absolutely.
You know, and those are also skills that you need, you know, to attract money, to make money, you know, those need to be taught.
Yeah, because anyone that has a resentment against people with money, just know that's going to stop you from having money. First of all, make sure you actually look at how you see people that have money. Do you see it with jealousy, or do you wish them well, you know? And yes, I was saying this I think it was to a client. It may have been a coordinator, I'm not sure. It was something in the last few days, so much has been going on. But I was saying, you know, yes, my company does well, but I also have paid my coaches really well. And, you know, my coaches use that money to take care of their children very well. And at the same time, you know, when we had the 11/11 meditation and there were people that couldn't afford to pay Jen McCarthy, because remember, none of the money went to us. When people couldn't afford it, I paid for it for them.
Yes.
I paid for a bunch of people to do it. Didn't I? I didn't need to tell anyone. The only reason I'm saying it now is I want to give the example of being successful enables you to help others, you know. And it means if I do get a charity case come in and if someone's like, I need $100 to pay for my children's food, I can actually say, okay, like, let's do it. Like, how do you need me to send it? Walmart, PayPal, how do you need it, you know?
Yeah. But you need to be able to stand up on your own 2 feet first and feed yourself and make sure you have a roof over your head before you can take care of others.
Absolutely. You need to wait until your cup is overflowing. And that needs to be the goal for everyone. Get to overflowing. And thankfully, myself and Lindsey are in a place where we're overflowing. And it means that we can do even more. And that's why we can be here now. And we can do the things that we do.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing is I just feel like, you know, I'm working on my online program as well at the moment so that my program can be more accessible and I can price it for each country, because obviously some countries have different finances and it's different, you know, when you convert Australian dollars or Indian money and things, you know, American dollars is a lot. So I have plans in play, but in the meantime, obviously, you know, if people do want to find out more about anything that me and Lindsey do, you know, just go on our Instagram pages. They can get links to you, can't they, and see more about, you know, especially if you're in California, or, you know, if there's something she said that makes you think, gosh, you know, I'd like to talk to her, maybe she can help me or this family member or this friend or this partner of mine, you know, we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we do, you know, and if you do want to heal fully, you know, you're welcome to come and have a chat with me or one of my coaches and we'll see what we can do.
To bring it back to the plant-based, also what I noticed is when I go to events, so I'll go to Sandra's like 3-day event, it's you're meditating for 12 hours. When you're in such a high frequency, the first thing you want to do, or at least the first thing I want to do and most people do, is you want to eat like Chinese food. And I never eat Chinese food, but it's something heavy and grounding. I don't know if this makes sense to people, right? So it knocks you down a couple of pegs to where you were before. So that's the whole point about the organic, because things that aren't organic are, my aunt used to think I was crazy, but things that are, it's irradiated, right? When they microwave the food, that's not organic, and it kills the vibration of it. It really does. So you can feel the difference when you hold an organic pepper.
Oh, I made a new friend the other day. I made a new friend. He's really cool. He's actually from Jerusalem, and he's from a Jewish line. So it's more like the race is Jewish rather than the religion. He is a Jewish. It's interesting, very interesting story. Young guy, works at like a nature place with like, and he's studying botanicals. So he's just a cool person that I met. Anyway, he was telling me that he used to be vegan too, and he isn't anymore because he was just struggling with work and school to be able to eat and function. And he said he was losing too much weight. But something really interesting that he said to me is he said the vegetables aren't good in America. He said in Jerusalem, you could smell the fruit and vegetable store before you saw it. He said, I like to smell vegetables. And he doesn't mean smell them. He means smell them from a distance. And I know
much of that is to soil, you know, because what we have these days is not the same as we had for vegetables 100 years ago. You know, it's very different. Which is unfortunate, but.
And I know, I mean, my angels just showed me, you know, that they used to move the vegetables so that they grew on different land and that they did different cycles and things to refill the nourishment. But it's not like that in America now. It really is like McDonald's. It's like, how do we get the most out? How do we get the most money? And it's not that the farmers are greedy. It's the people above the farmers that are greedy. The farmers are just trying to make a living. The farmers themselves are not driving around in Rolls Royces, you know, God bless them. They're just trying to make a living. But all of this is all going to change in the future. You know, we're going to get this all corrected. But in the meantime, just us becoming more aware of what we consume. And it was interesting, you know, I actually almost used to think that I needed to drink occasionally just because my vibration was so high that I needed the rest of the world to actually be able to feel. I didn't want to be so distant from everybody else, you know.
I know what you mean.
And then obviously since Christmas Eve when I started the fast where I'm not drinking, I'm just like, I'm just okay being a unicorn now. I just accept. And luckily I have these very few key special ladies like Lindsey, so I still have some other unicorns I can talk to, you know. But for a long time it did feel like and when I say drink, I don't mean like every day or every night or anything, but just the actual act of doing it still, you know. Part of me felt like, you know, with who I am, do I need to be drinking still? And I used to be like, I kind of need to be able to sort of blend in a little bit with the rest of the world. And now I've just given up altogether on that. You know? I walk outside and people are like, you look like you walked off of a Hallmark movie, and you look like you know, this lady said to me, she said, you look like you just walked off a movie set. I said, oh really, what movie? She said, like a Hallmark, like you just look like what happiness looks like. I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
And much of that is what you consume or don't consume, choose not to consume, keeps you at that certain state.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think if we take consume further, consume as in who do you consume, as in who do you talk with? What do you watch on television?
Yes.
What do you think about? You know,
Yes.
what do you consume as a human? What do you eat, drink, watch, listen to, hear?
Yeah.
You know?
It will affect everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be careful what I watch at night, because if I'm not watching the Hallmark Channel or something, if I'm watching something that's dark all night long, that's all that's going through my head.
Yeah, I actually can't. I really struggle. Because of my past lives, occasionally I watch things that have like old-fashioned stuff with wars and things like that. And I don't like it, but I have a tolerance for it because of my past lives. But if it's actually modern dark stuff, then it literally feels demonic to me and I can't be doing it. I can't do it. For some reason, like I said, this soul was exposed to a lot in the past to do with wars and things. And so that stuff doesn't give me as much nightmares. But the stuff that's modern, and it could even just be like a superhero one where the guy's punching the man too much times and it's showing this too graphically. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, nope, nope, nope.
Yeah. It's intense.
Yeah, we have to be careful. And, you know, again, this is where we're all going to evolve. Soon we're going to have television channels that you can just put on and everything just feels good. You know, this is the stuff that we're going to develop. You know, this is where us just building this community and getting to know each other and everything like that. That's what this is about, because we can really just do extraordinary things and we are going to change the world, basically.
Do you have Gaia TV yet?
I know about Gaia TV. I don't have that much time to watch stuff like that because there's Gaia and then there's another one as well. But this vision I have in my mind of this channel it's like that, but it's a step on. I'll show you something that you guys may want to look at. I'll just show you guys quickly. I haven't even had a chance to put it on yet. That's when I say I don't have much time. The artist whose picture I put up on the community page, this is a DVD meditation of his art. Mm-hmm. This one's called Transmotio, and this is called Voyage to Infinity. So it's like a television channel, like as in it's a program. You put it on, but it's a meditation, and it like takes you somewhere.
With the visuals. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have channels like that. It's gonna be like it's nuts, you know. This is where things are going to go to in the future. Now we're going to get kicked off if we're not careful, because we're already round the hour. I just want to thank you so much, Lindsey. Look how fast time has flown.
Yes.
We need to do this more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're just, like I said, as I figure out, I want to get some kind of routine happening. I'll have the Vedic guy on Tuesdays. I'm going to have some Sundays. Maybe after this Sunday, we could maybe even do the following Sunday. We just have so much more to cover, and I know that this really helps other people. So
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll work it out. We'll work out the timing, won't we?
Yes.
Absolutely. And you see, it says 2 people are watching. In a minute, when I put this up to go on the stories, it will say something like 55. It's like, I don't know why they do it. They just do it to annoy me, I think.
So sad.
But you'll see in a minute. It's quite funny. They do it like, you know, it's like whatever it is, I have times 10 of whatever it says there is. It's kind of weird. But they don't.
1 minute.
Yeah, they don't succeed in bothering me, but there we go. So, Lindsey, I love you lots. And
love you.
Anyone that's in California, Lindsey's there. She's the coordinator, but she's also an expert on many things if you're from another area and you want to reach out to her. And I'm here if you need anything. And we will see you tomorrow. I'm going to have America on here tomorrow, and that's going to be so much fun. And we're going to be talking about Emperor Queens. So there we go. So, I love you, my darling. And see you soon. Take care now.
You too.
Bye-bye.